Here he goes again. He says, verse 2, can a man be profitable unto God, as he that is wise may be profitable unto himself? Is it any pleasure to the Almighty that thou art righteous, or is it any gain to him that thou makest thy ways perfect? Do you really think that God cares? Is it any profit to God that you're righteous? And yet there was God in heaven saying to all the sons of God, and also to the serpent himself, he turns around, have you considered my servant Job? Have you considered the integrity of his heart? God was glad. God was thrilled with Job. And he said, look at him. He's a shining example of someone who has love in his heart. So the devil knows that what he's got to do, he's got to turn the reason and turn Job's thoughts to think that God isn't like he really is. So he sends people along with natural reasoning. How many people have been told, oh, so you think you're righteous? Well, there's none righteous under heaven. Do you think you're so good? You sin, don't you? Everyone sins, don't they? You're not righteous. Do you think you're holier than thou, do you? You think you're great, do you? Yeah. Have you heard people say that? Oh, so you're a Christian. I suppose you never go faster than the speed limit, huh? Huh? If you're a Christian, you know, it's always speeding they get you on. You ever noticed that? How many have had people say that to you? Put up your hands. Yeah. There you are, you see. Now, you know the reason is those kind of people, they're so mean and miserable, they can't afford a fast car. So their envy says, so you speed. The way the devil works. You've got to know his machinations. Now, that's only a precept of man. It's not the law of God. In fact, I want to tell you, God goes quick. And his servants make haste. Scripture says so. We have to be very careful. Let's go on and look in okay, go on to chapter 35. Chapter 35, Elihu. And verse if thou be righteous, that's nice of him, what givest thou him? Or what receiveth he of thine hand? Chapter 35, verse 7. If thou be righteous, what giveth thou him? What do you do for God? Now here you are, pitted with boils. Here you are, sick, sitting on a mound on a dung heap. Here you are, and if you're righteous, what do you give God? You see, what they were saying is, you don't please God. Nothing you've done please God. That's why you've ended up on a dung heap full of boils. That's why all your family were killed. That's why disaster came on you. Because God hates you. You think you're profitable to God? You think you do honor to God? You do honor to God the way you are? You're kidding. Well, why would God want to bless you? Why would God want to help you? You deserve everything you've got. You're not half as bad as you think you are, and you deserve a lot worse. That's the devil. Now, God began by saying, have you considered Job? None as upright as Job. In all the earth, there's no one like my servant Job, upright in all his ways. I'm delighted in him, says God. I'm proud to make my boast in Job. So the devil says, all right. He says he serves you for all the blessing he can get. God says, I know the integrity of that man's heart. Though you touch all his possessions, and though you touch his body, you can't touch his life, but you can touch his body, I'll tell you, you still love me. Now the friends come along and they say to Job, look, Job, you think you're righteous, you think you're good, but these things wouldn't happen to a good or a righteous man, but they've happened to you, therefore there's something awfully wrong in your life. There's some great evil in your life that your father did, or your grandfather did, or your great-grandfather did. That's why you're like you are, and you better face it, Buster. That's the way you're going to be. And what good are you to God anyway? What righteousness is there? Now, God had said one thing, man saying something else. And the devil puts words into people's mouths. And you want to be careful. That critical attitude and that critical voice and that critical way, that's usually the devil speaking using your lips. Oh, you say, but it's what I thought of. No, it's not. It's what the devil thought of and fed into your mind, and you begin to speak it out, to pull people down, to pull things down, and to pull their lives down, and to make them equal with you. Criticism elevates the individual who criticizes. That's why they wanted to say, Elihu and the others, what they wanted to say is, Job, we's as good as you. God says there's no one like Job. The people say, we're better. And that's always the devil's way. He wants to prove through people that those people are better. He wants to elevate individuals. And the one way of elevating individuals is to pull someone else down. Have you ever noticed it? Job, you're like that. Now look, God says, Job, if you look in chapter 1 again, verse 8, God says, it's interesting to compare what God says about Job and what the four counselors say. Okay, God says, 3. Verse 1, and the Lord said unto Satan, hast thou considered my servant Job? There is none like him in the earth, a perfect man, an upright man, one that feareth God and escheweth evil. And chapter 2, verse 3, hast thou considered my servant Job? There is none like him in the earth, a perfect and upright man, one that feareth God and escheweth evil. And still he holdeth fast his integrity, although thou movest me against him to destroy him without cause. He's upright, says God. But what do the so-called helpers say? The people who come to Job to give him advice when disasters hit him. You listen to what they say. Bildad says in chapter 8, verse 8,